Hermitcraft Infinity.
Welcome back to Hermitcraft Infinity. All right. Well, I'm checking in here with my Supernode project, and as you can see, I'm doing things a little bit differently now. I still got the Supernode sitting here, working on this thing, and right now I'm working on building up the Terra. Earlier today, it was at about 43. It's up to 47 now. And this node over there in the corner is down to 10. It started out today at 90-something, 92 or 94, something like that. And I've got these things on node stabilizers, because when they're on a stabilizer, that sucker over there can't drain them. So now that this thing is down to 10, I'm going to go ahead and turn the stabilizer back on and let this one recharge back up to its full 90 whatever. And then later on, I'll turn another one of these off, maybe this here, an Ordo with 105 in it, and see if I can get this thing built up. My goal is to get all 6 of the primal aspects, air, aqua, ignis, terra, perdito, and ordo, up to a value of 82 or better. Because at 81, the square root of 81 is 9, so that means that this thing, when energized, would then have a centiV capability of 9 in when it was energized for each of those aspects. And yes, I do understand, as I understand it, the compound aspects that are in this node, they end up getting broken down into the primals that make them up when it's energized. Now, I may be somewhat wrong about that, but that's my understanding of how it works. Meantime, I'm thinking that I need to get busy with something. Specifically, I've decided that since I now have Eldritch Guardians coming after me, that it's probably an idea to do something about my armor. This vanilla armor isn't going to cut it, and the jetpack and the goggles don't have any armor value. And yes, I know it's possible to armor the jetpack and so on, but it's still not really what I would call super duper great. So, been looking in the Thaumium, and I've got some answers here. And let's see, alchemy is part of it. The making of Thaumium, which is just iron ingots in a crucible with 4 precantatio. Now, that's good, but as that I know of, I can't think of a single thing I could throw into a crucible that has just the precantatio in it. But I do have a solution, and that is the essential crystallizer. To crystallize some essentia, for example, liquid essentia that I have in jars from when I was setting that up upstairs, if I were to crystallize this, then I could put in the exact amount of precantatio essentia in crystallized form and have 0 waste and 0 flux and whatnot. And let's see, in order to make this, I'm going to need the alchemical construct, some tubes, some balance shards. Okay, I've got that. Let's see. The alchemical construct is this guy here. Great wood planks, V filters, essentia valves and tubes. And this is an arcane workbench recipe. Okay, great. Alright, let's see here. Great wood planks, V filters in the corners, essentia valves in the opposite corners, and then essentia tubes around there. Alright. I've got some great wood planks. Some V filters and some valves. Pop this in here and bang, one into alchemical construct. Excellent. Now, to make this, I'll need a dispenser. My, how vanilla. Okay. That shouldn't be too bad of a problem. All right. Looking at the wrong thing here. Crystallizer, yeah. Dispenser, wood, balance shards, and iron. Got a couple of balance shards here. Some iron. And an Essentia tube. Oh, yeah. Right. This goes up here. Construct goes in here. And let's shift right click on that. And do this. One Essentia crystallizer. Okay. Now, I'm going to need to go ahead and make up another alchemical furnace and another arcanalimbic to do that with. And I'll go ahead and get those made up. Alrighty, got everything ready here. Got the stabilizer I'm going to need, and got this all stuff together with the redstone blocks, iron, and comparator, and a stabilizer to make the node transducer. Bang. There we go. All right. That should be all of that I need for the moment. It's nice being able to use the AE to craft that kind of thing. It would be nice if we could shift-click the recipes into the interface, but at least this is a step in the right direction. All right. Now, I need a node to stabilize. Fortunately, I have one. A 92 Tera. Just for this perfect for this operation. And the reason for it is that this crystallizer will do its job better if it is fueled by Tera V in an energized node. Let's see. All right, let's get another redstone block. Okay. And just simply for the time being, at least, I'm going to just set this whole mess up right here. Because why not? I'll find a more permanent situation for it another time. All right. Stabilizer. Oh yeah, right. Whack it with a wand, break the jar. Stabilizer goes active. All right. Now, oh, jetpack might work if I was actually using it. Okay, now, node transducer above the node, and redstone block to activate it. The node's V level was quickly reduced to 0, and it is being energized. All right, and this will serve to power the crystallizer once it finishes energizing. And I think there's a graphic and a sound that happens then, and the arms on the transducer go completely red. All right, it worked. It took a few minutes longer than I expected it to, and then the resulting node has 8 centiV, which doesn't seem quite right to me because the square root of 92 is 9.591, and this is showing it's an 8. But I'm not going to argue with it. It's working. That's enough for me. All right, next thing we're going to need, let's see, artificing, alchemy, somewhere. Ah, yeah. Let's see. Okay, it's in here somewhere. It's on the next page from this one. There we go. Iron around a balanced shard, V relay. Okay. Pop this in here. Couple of balanced shards. Bang. Okay, so now, let's see, got the arcane crystallizer. It would probably be a good idea. Grab a chest. Alright, let's do something here. Alchemical furnace. Okay. Alembic. And let's see. Crystallizer. That'll work. A little bit of Essentia tube. It would probably work better if I put the crystallizer on the tube. Alright. And now, anything that we dump in here. Oh, wait a minute. You know, I just thought of something. Let's disconnect that. I mean, the idea is anything you put in here gets cooked up into the alembic, goes into the crystallizer, and gets crystallized. Then when the crystallizer is done, it outputs what it makes into the chest. And that's fine. But in this case, I've got jars of Essentia. So let's just set this jar right down here. And it's doing its thing. Alright, now let's see. There's 2 in there already. Alright, let me get out the V relay to relay V from that Terra node. And now its animation is running faster, and it's pulling stuff out quicker and getting it processed faster. Great. So now we've got pure crystallized essence here. That is awesome. Excellent. And that means that if I need to put okay, for on the alchemy tab down here for Thaumium, 1 iron, 4 precantatio. Put 4 iron, 4 of these crystals in there. Bang, no waste. So, I'm going to go ahead and process the rest of that jar and this jar that I've got here, which is full. Get that all processed into that stuff. And then we'll take the next step. And this setup, I can go ahead and run a pipe from this over to here and start throwing stuff in here and crystallize pure Essentia of all types out of just about any, well, out of literally anything that you can burn up in the alchemical furnace. Great. So, I'm going to be back when that's done. Alright, this jar is empty now, so let's get that out of there. And now I'm going to get out my Essentia tubes and go ahead and hook this up. And in here, a jar and a half has become a stack and a half of crystallized pure essence. That's great. Now what I'm thinking is the Thaumium here, to go ahead and make up a whole stack of it. And since that's 1 iron to 4 precontatio, then what I would need to do would be 16 iron to a stack of crystallized precontatio essence. So, if I take some ethereal essence from the wisps, and each one of those has 2 precontatio and 2 aurum. Now doing it up there with the furnaces and the golems is going to be all fine and dandy. The aurum would go into the void jar, and precontatio would go into that void jar, and anything over and above the capacity of the jar would be wasted, voided. So I figure, why not? Let's see, let me get some coal. I don't know why I had to type for it. It was right there. Alright, throw some coal in here. Throw a stack of ethereal essence in there. And it's getting in here processed, and we're getting the aurum and the precontatio. Looks like it's going to be... No, it's processing both out of each one as they cook down. So, I'm going to take some time here, and I'm going to cook up 4 stacks of crystallized precontatio essence, and we'll get on with that thaumium. Alright, I decided that this is going at a pretty decent pace, but I'm going to speed things up a little bit. I made up a second essential crystallizer. Let me get another chest. Because the stuff's getting spilled out on the floor now. Alright. There. That's going to work a whole lot better and faster. Let's go ahead and put more in there, and I'll be back when we're ready. Okay, this process is just about done, and more importantly, there is enough of each of these for what I've got in mind. So let's head up to the crucible and make up a stack of Thaumium. So I just drop in 16 iron and 1 stack of that. And it overflows. Okay, that wasn't so slick. Alright, let's clear that out. And we'll clean up the mess, and we'll try that again. Maybe not quite such a big bite. Alright, let's try this again. And this time we're not going to go in such a crazy big bite. We'll just throw in 4 of these. 1 of those. And that gets Thaumium ingot. So, like so, until I've got a full stack. Actually, I might be able to do more than that at a time. The trick is to not get too much in the crucible at any one time, or it's going to overflow in flux. So, I'm going to work on that and get this done. Alright, got that taken care of. I did find that I could get away with as many as 8 pieces of iron at a time. I'd had to remember the precontatio needed to go in first, and then the iron, and I could easily get away with doing 8 at a time, and it worked. Although I did notice that the crucible loses a little bit of its water level for every bit of iron processed. I did in the process, because of my waste and goofing up there first, use up all of the crystallized precontatio I have, but I can come up with more very easily. Alright, now the rest of it is actually kind of straightforward. Well, the next step is straightforward. Make up the armor. And the thing about Thaumium armor is that it is apparently a lot more enchantable than regular iron, and it's got a fair amount of durability. But I'm thinking, why stop there? Because there's the Thaumium, we just made the Thaumium armor. Let's take it to the next level. Thaumium Fortress armor. Very enchantable, a lot more durability, and this is going to take a separate infusion for each piece. And then another infusion to put Goggles of Revealing into the helmet. It doesn't give a V discount, but it does give the revealing aspect. So I'm going to get set up and we'll get those infusions done. Alrighty, let's get this done. I'm going to start out with the helmet. We need gold, the Thaumium helmet, emeralds, and a bit of Thaumium. Let's keep that one handy. Yeah, so 2 Thaumium ingots, an emerald, 2 gold, and the helmet in the middle. All right. Drop an emerald here. A couple of Thaumium ingots. Be nice if this thing would stay open at the page you opened it at. There. Okay, that should be pretty good. Let's go ahead and start this up. And I've got enough materials in here for this first infusion. I'll have to get some more of this cooked up for the next 2. But I wanted to go ahead and get this one done first. Alright. Bringing that in. See that jar, the Tudaman and, where is it? The Metallum. Those jars were full. This one only had 25 of the Praecantatio in it. Alright. Pulling everything in. We have no instability problems. Alright. Thaumium Fortress Helm. Alright. Okay. Now, I am going to have to cook up some more of that. Let's see. And this jar is full, so I'm going to cook it up downstairs into crystallized form and then have these guys cook up just the Praecantatio we need. Oh, it helps if you're using the right thing if you're looking for a trial anchor. Alright, I'll get that stuff cooked up and we'll get the next of these done. And just as a thought, it occurred to me to go ahead and scan all of this stuff because, yes, it's true. I'm probably pretty much finished with the research, but in my opinion, I think it's a good idea to go ahead and scan the new stuff as you go because you never know when it might turn out that there's more research to be done at some point. So I'm scanning everything. Alright, I've got enough of the crystallized essence here. Let's see, this jar's got 9 left in it. So if I take and put 55 in here to cook down, those little guys will fill it up completely. Alright, that's got 40 in it, and that's got 48. That's enough for the next. So as soon as the golems get this thing up, let's see, how much does it need? 16 for that, and 16 for the next one. Okay. So as soon as there's 16, okay, yeah, we can go ahead. Alright. Next up is the chest piece. Make sure I'm putting everything in, yeah. Leather, gold, and 4 Thaumium ingots. Okay, leather, gold, 4 Thaumium ingots, whack it with the wand, and let's go. Excellent. No problems, no shortages, no instabilities. It's just working. That's the way I like to see it. All right. Operation success. All right, let's go ahead, toss that out there and scan it. Yeah, that was worth scanning. I don't care if I am done with the research, which I'm not 100% certain of anyway. All right, next up, the leggings. 3 Thaumium, 1 gold, 1 leather. All right, leather, gold, and let's be sure to put these in there. Okay, there's plenty of that. How are we doing for... Okay, hang on. $24 metallum and 20 Thaumium needed. Okay, looks like I'm going to be crystallizing some more stuff for these guys to get into the jars. All right. I just did some checking, and that actually might be almost enough if I take and put a half a stack of Thaumium crystallized essence in there for the little guys to handle. And as far as the metallum, turns out I have a jar and a half almost extra from before. So I'm just going to set this. If I can manage to do it, there. That should be more than enough for this operation, so let's get this rolling. And that's the leggings, which is the 3rd piece, and the boots don't get this treatment. Next up, I'll be making up a new goggles of revealing and doing another infusion to get that into the helmet. All right, everything is going smoothly. No problems. All right, let's toss that out there and scan it. If I can be quick enough to do it. Yeah, definitely worth doing. Okay, now to get ready for the next one. All right, this one ought to be simple and easy. We pop the helmet in there. Slime ball over here. New goggles there. Whack this thing with a wand and let's rock. I'll double check to make sure everything's enough of, so we're not having any problems there. And once I get all this going, I'm going to take some time, gather up some XP, and work out a good set of enchantments for all of this armor. Toss that out there. Scan it. Okay. It doesn't matter. Alright. Alright, let's try this out. Alright. Well. Alright, I don't F5 very often, but and that's why, because that makes me kind of queasy just looking at it. And what is going on with the UI? Everything's all queasy green, like the whole UI is going to throw up. And it's got things hanging on my back, too, for some reason, whatever that's all about. Alright. Of course, the Fortress Armor does not fly, so I will be getting the jetpack back on there for the time being. And yes, I am going to take some time and get the jetpack armored. That's something I should have done a long time ago. What is going on here? You are not permitted. All right, he's gone. Good. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to continue with the node project. It's a very slow, painful process because I need to keep an eye on things. This one's back up to 66 finally. And I like to keep an eye on this and monitor the progress so that when one of these things gets down to very low, I can go over here and turn the node stabilizer back on and keep it from being destroyed. Let it recharge, and over time, eventually, I will get the primals on this up to 81 or higher. And that way we'll have really good, strong supernode. The trick is going to be finding a large enough Ignis node to feed this thing with, because right now I've not had a whole lot of good luck finding one of those, but I will get it found. Meanwhile, things are going pretty good here. We got all this stuff with the AE system. I've made a little progress there. Got this side fully populated now. Lots of storage for everything. And also, I have set up another quarry, since the first one just ended the other day. This one is in the nether, on the roof. A 1,000 by 1,000 quarry, way the heck out here, 10,000 blocks away from the central area, so I won't be stepping on anybody's project or anything in the nether. And I will have all the nether quartz and nether ores that I could possibly want for some time to come. And so we'll be getting more progress here soon. I want to get to where some of this stuff is automated, and I think that's not going to be a problem. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.